What up, hotheads? I'm Henry, and this is Blaze the Roof. This week, we're reviewing a sauce named Kentucky Straight Bourbon Habanero Sauce. So, the company that makes it is named Bourbon Sauce Company, but it actually falls under the United Sauces umbrella, which means that United Sauces goes and buys out companies. Like it recently bought out Cajan's. It's kind of a conglomerate, I guess you could say. I don't know if this used to be independent or just was something that grew up under the umbrella of United Sauces. But the city it's out of is Charlotte, North Carolina. We've already covered that city, so we're not going to get into it, right? Now, let's look at the packaging, though. So what's really cool about this is it kind of looks a little bit like a Jim Beam bottle, right? You got the S that looks like a wax stamp. The habanero even looks like a Jim Beam logo. Everything just looks like a whiskey bottle. I mean, it should, right? Even down to the name on here. It says D Bourbon Chef. I don't know if that's really a person or not, but... And again, the Bourbon Sauce Company, right? Alright, so the ingredients include water, vinegar, habanero, peppers, paprika, lemon juice, garlic, spices, bourbon, salt, and xanthan gum. The ingredient I want to talk about is bourbon. So bourbon is, as we know, the bourbon is the best of the browns. What you need to know is there's actually ABCs to bourbon. There's actually A, B, C, D, E, and F. And even a G, but I'm going to walk you through that. I think it's important to know the difference between a bourbon and just a regular whiskey, right? So A, it has to be American. So the myth goes that it has to be made in a specific county in Kentucky. It just has to be American. B is for barrels, which is for the white oak barrels that must be charred. They have to be charred in order for it to be considered bourbon. C is for corn. The mash that is used to make the bourbon has to be at least 51% corn. If it doesn't meet the 51%, it's a whiskey, not a bourbon. So D is for distilled proof. That is the white dog. Basically what you get once you get the mash and let the fermentation happen, right? You then you pass it through the distiller. Usually it's a tower distiller, and it has to be at least, or it cannot be more than 160 proof. E is for entry proof. So entry proof is the proof that it could go into a barrel, and that cannot exceed 125 once it goes into the barrel. Now, of course, some people tend to water it down. You know, evaporation happens, so it can either go up or down. Sometimes by the time you pull it out and get it ready, it can be 128 proof, like Booker's. Very solid bourbon, but pretty strong. Or the typical ones you see are 80 to about 90, 95%. And so F is for the final proof. The final proof of the whiskey, it has to be above 80 proof. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically it's 2 proofs per percent. So 80 proof is 40% alcohol. All right, and G is for genuine. It just has to be the real thing, right? No artificial coloring, no food additives. The coloring has to come from the barrels and the aging. 95% of bourbon barrels are kept within Kentucky, though, because the weather is perfect for the fluctuations. Because you want the wood to expand and contract, and the winters and the summers allow it to do that. So over the years, you want the liquor to basically get in the cracks and all the crevices in the barrel when it expands, and then when it contracts, it basically pushes it out. So that's how you get the browning. There are actually more barrels of bourbon in Kentucky than there are people. Before we get any further, though, let's hear from this week's sponsor.
Sometimes you need a drink to work faster than usual. Well, with Straight Bourbon IV, you get it directly into your bloodstream. None of this pussyfooting around about what flavor, what mixer to get. Get straight to business. You don't even need to be certified as a phlebotomist. Just hook up the cannula to your vein once and keep it clean with maintenance. Nothing beats the feeling as the warmth spreads within your veins. Straight Bourbon IV, designed and refined to be mainlined.
now for the moment of truth. You can definitely smell vinegar. I'm trying to see if I could get a bourbon smell, but I don't think I'm going to get much of a bourbon smell. Because if you cook it, with the bourbon in the mash, it should be an additive after the fact. You just get a little distinctive flavor. Well, maybe we'll get caramel notes or leather notes or something like that. But again, it's a chipotle sauce, so you have red in there, right? It's very red, and I believe it also has habanero, so it's got chipotle and habanero. Cheers. So you do get the habanero at the end. I don't get the taste of bourbon. It just tastes like chipotle at the beginning with a little bit of, what, it have salt in, lime? Yeah, the lime juice. Slight smokiness, slight, it's not much. And then you get the burn at the back end. But the burn was actually more on my chest, so that's probably more me. I'll call this a medium. I'll call this a middleweight sauce. The thing that immediately comes to mind is this would probably go good on chicken or anything that has barbecue on it. Now, there are better sauces. Again, I think this one is a little bit slightly vinegary, but if you like, vinegar in your barbecue sauce, then this would probably be a good thing to mix in with it. It's interesting. All right. This is not a sauce that I would run out and buy in the store, but it's not bad. So next week, I'm going to review a sauce named Arizona Gunslinger Cherry Chipotle Habanero. Until then, I'm Henry, and remember, spice up your life. Take care.